soon, everybody. Renewal! Sanctuary. That's right. 16, 15. Coming. And just in the nick of time. Pete runs in from
absolutely. That's the best. That's the best way to do it every single time. So welcome everybody to IFB Interfleet Broadcasting. I'm New York Pete, and this on the other side is my buddy and co-host, the Tipsy Toaster,
Oh, you
aka
had to
Chris
think
Moore.
about that for a second again, huh?
I did because I didn't know if I was going to call you a plain out robot or what, but this
Obey
is
your robot overlords, dude.
that's correct. Our welcome to our pop culture sci-fi show. We grew up in 70s and 80s, and we bring that to IFB. We happen to also be big Battlestar Galactica fans, and
Huge, huge,
huge. Thank you
huge.
everybody for joining us live here. Thank you everybody for tuning in later on. We got a great show tonight. So we're gonna start with, one of our regulars, Tiny Bean, will come on and she's gonna cover some really cool stuff. I've seen the slides, so I'm looking forward to that. And then we're gonna be followed by one of our other great supporters, part of the
Fantastic
bigger
author.
family IFB, Rick Moreno, who watches he watches and follows IFB, and we love that. And he's got some stuff to talk about, some of his work. His one of his books, his latest books, has won a whole slew of awards. I want to get into that and follow that up because I think we're gonna have a scoop from him too. So tell us about some of the other work he's doing, and really, really interested to hear about that. And then that's gonna that's gonna be followed by our discussion on fanzines in general. So I'm gonna use a little bit of Rick to set up that world building idea, and how does that come about? Because you have to be creative even if you're doing fan fiction. So because that's what we're going to end up talking about with Professor Patton, and Superfan Fran will be here. Both high stakes, big time, in the world, I was going to say business, but they've been,
Huge in the fanzine world.
yeah, they are,
Huge.
pillars of the Battlestar Galactica fan fiction, fanzine legacy. They are both legacies in that world and continue to this day. So it's really cool to have them, and we'll discuss that, and we'll talk about, fanzines in general and fan fiction, because Tipsy's always been into it. I have, but from a Star Trek perspective, and I'll show you what I mean. And then, of course, I've caught up a little bit with the help of Tipsy Toaster. And then, towards the end, we're going to bookend the show with John. One will come on and he'll give us, his take on things. And he's got his own little presentation he'll do with us, and we'll discuss, a little bit of a wrap up, I guess, of how the show is going. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you all. Let me see if I can see who's out there. I also want to thank
Swear to
everybody
God, I'm going to
for.
get you one of those looking glass things from Romper Room.
Yeah, you should. Why not?
Mediocre Modeler, if you're on, 3D print one of those things for me.
That would be really funny, wouldn't it? Yeah. So let me tell you something. There is a lot of cool stuff, a lot of goodness going on. Lola's on, Kim, of course, Chuck Davenport, and Commander Kane himself, Paul and Susan. I don't know, Erica. Kim Harms, let's see. Oh, Bert Oliver Bomer is with us. George Giacomo's in the house. Karen, how are you? And I don't know, there's a few others on here. You're probably spread out between YouTube and some of our other social media platforms. And appreciate all of you. Let me see who just jumped on. Try to catch you all as best I can. But thanks for tuning in, guys. And I was about to thank everybody that's following the Tower Protocol Resurrection over on our one of our other sites, which we are a big part of. You know that we I don't know, I was going to say Tiny Bean, but let me just say Tipsy Toaster, co-producer, and Tipsy Toaster Productions. Tipsy himself did all the editing and all of the special effects in the Tower Protocol.
Yeah, so don't hold that against
Thank
me.
you. And the trailer that you and I put together, Chris, has over 56,000 views internationally. So I just wanted to thank everybody. And then now is when I'll bring in the fact that Tiny Bean Tara is also a character in the Tower Protocol
She's not only
Resurrection.
a
So
character, but she's a character in the Tower Protocol.
yes, that's right. So, anyway, it's all cool. Actually, when you guys finally get a chance to see the Stranded Warrior, you'll see that Tiny Bean is also a heck of a.
Character.
Well, she's a thespian in and of herself, but she plays another really cool character in the Stranded Warrior as well. So
We're just full of
that's
characters
cool.
tonight.
And we're gonna have her talk about the performance that she just came off of, a one woman show. I hope you guys saw that. We posted it up on IFB. So there's a lot of cool stuff, plenty of entertainment to go
Huge.
around. Yes, and I hope everybody's enjoying it. We just want to thank you guys for supporting and watching. You guys, I know you're gonna watch a lot of this afterwards. So in rerun, right? There's a lot of life after the fact. Some of you, watch live, some of you come on after. But thank you everybody for joining
Yeah.
us here on IFB Interfleet Broadcasting. And
Of course,
I
Tara
try to
says, yeah,
catch you.
just because you are a character doesn't mean that you have character.
This is true. Rob Baum, thank you for joining us. Mediocre Modeler is watching, and of course, John One is in the wings. All right, guys. Well, this is when we thank you guys officially. I
Yes.
have my tea and my official
See, it's so hard to do
IFB.
tea because I get my beer out here. I got
Okay,
my.
what? Oh, you get like a Vulcan.
See, it's only
Vulcan spot,
logical to drink beer. See,
but
only
you're not
logical.
drinking beer. It's
Yes, I
just
am.
chocolate.
It is stuck.
You're drinking chocolate.
It's stuck.
Oh,
Oh,
that is. You know what's gonna happen when you open it?
oh, it's
Oh,
gonna be
look
fun.
at.
There we
Oh,
go.
you guys can't see, but when Rick comes on, you're gonna see what he's got. That's really cool.
Chocolate
Chocolate
lava
lava
cake
cake
stout.
stout. That's just okay.
8%, baby.
Wow.
Ready?
Let it
One,
rip, man, right from the
two,
beginning.
3.
Blow up.
Wow.
Oh, you lucked out. Oh,
See
you
how
lucked out. That
dark
would have
this
been
is?
that would have been really funny, you know.
Oh,
That actually would have been
look at
funny.
that.
Yeah, it would have been just classic season one IFB. That would have been right there.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
look at that.
All
Oh,
right. Funny
oh,
here.
it's chocolate. It's
Chocolate's
definitely
good.
chocolate.
All right. Let's
Ooh, may
see.
have found a
I
new
am
favorite
now.
chocolate beer.
All right.
Chocolate
I
stout.
got you guys.
Beer
Boom.
of
Champions.
Cylons.
Oh my, it's like you can't even look through it. It's
That's
that
right.
I am
Gotta love
here, I
it.
am here, I am here. I was under the car, but I'm still here. All right. That's what mediocre modeler just Bye,
Mediocre.
buddy.
Did you
Just
hear me? I need uh, a, a thing for Pete. Got to send it to him. I'll give you the address. I need the
yeah.
romper room
Was it
mirror.
was it romper room?
Yes, it was romper room.
It was romper room? Okay,
It was
cool.
romper room.
All right. Yeah, you know
I see
they brought them
mediocre,
together.
and I see Paul, and I see John, and I see.
They were added they did an anniversary thing and they had the two of them show up to some convention, I believe it was.
Oh, that'd been
So,
fun.
hey Charlene, what's up? And you know, Commander Kane, of course, with us. Cool guys. All right. Well, it's like I said, it's that time. So
Yes.
uh
So, anyways,
here's
here's to you all. It's
Mhm.
important that we recognize the fans, not the people that are in front of the camera all the time, but the people who are behind the camera, the people who create, the people who use their imaginations, and the people who share those imaginations with the rest of the fans. Here's to you, because Pete is reading his
Fans Fuel the
phone.
Fleet. Yep, I'm trying to do what you do and I'm
Because
failing.
fans fuel the fleet.
There you go, everybody. All right. Well, all right,
Oh,
no more juggling. I'm going to stop juggling for a second.
mm.
And yes, the special IFB looking glass. Got it. Thank you,
Ah,
mediocre modeler. Yeah,
just
that's going to be funny. Very good. Okay.
mm.
All right, you fill up that. That's just fantastic.
Don't worry,
There's more.
I got another.
Of course you do. Why would you not have another? Good for you.
I was going to put it in the small tasting glass to see, like, it's like, nah. Let's go full
Yeah, no
Monty here.
samples. Yeah, no
Samples.
samples tonight. All right. Well, then
Mm.
we haven't seen Tiny Bean Tara in a while because she's been doing a one woman show,
Mm.
and we put it up on our Facebook page on social media because she was also in an article in the local newspaper for her performance, and I did realize it was a one woman show, so I was like, I thought it was a kind of an ensemble, but it wasn't. I stand corrected. And she just finished her run. I didn't know if she still had any shows left, but she completed it, and so we'll get her to talk a little bit about it. But she's got her coverage that she's going to do, and it's very, very interesting. So when the Tipsy Toaster makes it happen, she will come on. What are you doing? What you gotta put a loud. You gotta loud. It's yeah. Her theme song's got a little louder than that.
I'm trying to find it.
It's very faint. That's
I know,
not
I'm
doing her
looking for it.
justice.
The critics all wonder
Okay, there we
from
go.
Hollywood to Broadway's grand stage, Tiny Bean Terror, the critic queen
Excellent.
of the age. She'll tear apart scripts with her ruthless pen, finding
Yay!
flaws wherever she goes, and when no film or show can escape her sight.
You actually wrote this stuff up. You wrote this, Tipsy Toaster. Oh my God, that's
Robot
funny.
overlords wrote that, sir. Oh, I got to get Tara's microphone on. There we go.
Tara. So, you did a wonderful job. You got coverage in the newspaper with photos,
my
And
gosh.
yeah, you look pretty funny. And we were
Thank
talking
you.
about it before the show. Tell us a little bit about it, will you please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just finished it. Well, let me set the stage. It is
Okay.
winter carnival time up here in Saranac Lake. It is the oldest winter carnival in the country. They build a tremendous ice castle every year. Every year there's a different theme. There's parades, there's events, there's contests, there's shows. And my friends, the Adirondack Stage Rats ladies, my friends Karen and Beth, hi guys, they found this one-woman show called Who's Holiday, and it is about a grown-up Cindy Lou who now lives in a trailer on the side of Mount Crumpet, and she's had a rough life. So So
Excellent.
yeah, it was me for an hour, and the entire thing was in rhyme. So
Wow.
my brain is still rhyming things. It's like frightening. Like I need it to stop. But it was a lot of fun, and there is a chance that we might take it on the road. So if we do
Oh,
more in future, I will let you know, and I'll let you
yeah.
know if we get any video clips because it's a hoot. The costume
Oh,
alone
yeah.
worth the
We got
price of admission.
you. Yes,
Hang
well,
on.
you got to get the pictures, get the whatever video so we can share it up on IFB. We want to let everybody share that with everybody. It's so cool.
Oh, thank
Congratulations.
you so much.
Yeah.
It's
Hang
a
Cool.
on.
hoot.
There you go.
What do you got?
Oh, there she is.
Oh,
That is Cindy Lou. Good times. My goodness.
excellent. All right, cool. So you have a lineup, you have a review of things as
Ooh.
usual, a curated selection of recommendations that you've watched or that you're going to watch. So I have not seen I've no this list that you put together, I'm still catching up. So
Okay,
looking forward to
great.
hearing your review.
Sure. Tipsy, whenever you're ready. You good to go?
Oops, wrong one.
That's for later.
That's for later.
Like, shh, don't give it away.
Sneak peek.
All right, here we go then, guys. Well, hello, IFB. Happy February, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to Tiny Beans Corner, where we discuss new, old, or otherwise interesting things for the fleet's viewing pleasure. I've got some fun stuff on tap and a few surprise reviews, so let's jump in. First up, in previews, just in time for Valentine's Day, we have a genre blending sci fi action love story hitting Apple TV tomorrow. Check out The Gorge. An impressive array of actors here, guys, from Anya Taylor-Joy, our young Furiosa, Miles Teller, and the great Sigourney Weaver.
Ooh.
Yeah. This one tells the story of two elite snipers set up to guard either side of a mysterious gorge. They are not allowed to communicate with each other across this gorge, but of course they do. Reviews say the first 20 minutes plays out almost like a sci-fi rom-com, but then quickly turns into high gear action and scares. This looks like a really good time, guys. Check out the trailer. I'll be watching it tomorrow, so I can't wait. And I hope you guys give it a chance. The Gorge will debut on Apple TV Plus. Next up, Netflix is bringing us an interesting political espionage miniseries starting February 20th with an absolutely incredible cast. Check out the trailer for Zero Day. It stars the one and only Robert De Niro in his first TV series. Here he plays an ex-president called in to help the current administration in the aftermath of a debilitating cyber attack. Looks great, guys. The cast includes Connie Britton, Jesse Plemons, Joan Allen, Bill Camp, Dan Stevens, Matthew Modine, and more. Like I could go on. Love me a good star-studded mystery mini-series. So I have high hopes here. It's right around the corner. Early buzz is strong. Zero Day will start on Netflix February 20th. Last up in previews. Now, this one is a doozy.
The best.
Check, right? I mean, just come on. Check out The Electric State. It's billed as a sci-fi, adventure, action, comedy, drama. And I think they've covered almost all of the genres there. So it is based on a 2018 graphic novel of the same name. The Electric State is a film where, once again, we have no shortage of star power. Listen to this lineup. Got Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, Ki Hugh Kwan, Jason Alexander, Woody Harrelson, Anthony Mackie, Brian Cox, Jenny Slate, Giancarlo Esposito, and Stanley Tucci. You can't make this up, guys. Now,
Wow.
it's set in an alternate timeline, technologically ravaged 1990s, and we're following a teenage girl and her robot on a journey to the west coast of the United States in search of her long-lost brother. I can only imagine that chaos will ensue. This looks like a lot of fun, guys. The trailer is great, and it also drops really soon. It's only a month away, so that one is going to be out on March 14th on Netflix. So, three fun things to look forward to. And now for a couple of surprise reviews. Here are two projects that were kind of under my radar, low on my priority list, but they completely stopped me in my tracks. I love when that happens. So let's start with the film Humane. Imagine a horrific future of environmental collapse where the only thing to stop the Earth from imploding is the immediate reduction of humanity by 20% of the population. All nations are ordered to reduce their numbers by 10%. Governments start implementing an enlistment program where you can voluntarily elect to be sacrificed for the good of the planet and receive a nice benefit for your family. Any numbers not met by the enlistment program will then result in a lottery draft. So,
Wait a minute. I think we're living this one.
right?
At
It's
least in the federal government, we are.
Omra.
Whoa.
So this is the background. This is what sets the stage for what becomes a film that is equal parts horrific and hilarious, moving and unsettling. A cornucopia of emotions to wade through. The main reason I wanted to check this out, why it was on my list even in the first place, is that it is the directorial debut of Caitlin Cronenberg, David Cronenberg's daughter. And I always like to see what the next generation of filmmakers is doing. It stars Peter Gallagher, Jay Baruchel, Emily Hampshire, and the absolutely brilliant scene-stealing Enrico Colantoni. Yes, it's uneven in parts. You can tell it's a rookie director here and there, but trust me, this one is very, very unique and memorable. It will definitely stay with you. Caitlin Cronenberg will be a director to watch. Humane is streaming now on Hulu and AMC, so let me know what you think of it. Next up, guys, I have found my new TV obsession. It's a series called Paradise, and it is off the hook. Have any of you guys checked this one out yet? I mean, it's nearly impossible for me to talk about it without giving anything away, so I am being very careful here. As careful as the writing on this show is, they keep their cards very close to the chest, and slowly, little by little, you learn more and more about what is really going on. In a nutshell, Sterling K. Brown, who is outstanding, stars as a Secret Service agent investigating the murder of a former president, played perfectly by James Marsden. And they're in this seemingly idyllic community. But that, my friends, is the absolute tip of the iceberg. I am halfway through the season, and the twists just keep on coming. It is so good. Told in current time with a lot of well-crafted flashbacks. It also boasts some great performances by Julianne Nicholson, Sarah Shahi, and John Beavers. this one is not to be missed. It put me in mind of the Twin Peaks and Wayward Pines with a nice touch of political mystery, thriller, dystopian future, and action adventure thrown in. So another one in the corner this week that is throwing everything at the screen in defiance of genre rules, and I am all in. If you haven't started this one yet, guys, please join me. Let's see if we could figure out where all this is headed because I do not know. I think you will absolutely enjoy the ride, guys. Paradise has the first 5 episodes streaming right now on Hulu and AMC, with new episodes dropping on Tuesdays. I cannot wait for Tuesday to see the next episode. So, next time I'm back, guys, let's get ready to talk Severance season 2 because my mind is still blown on that one. But for now, that is all for the corner tonight. Back to you, Pete.
Outstanding. So really, really good selection. You have a lot of greetings
Hi,
from
guys.
IFB fans, of
Oh, my
course.
friends.
Lola's and let me see,
No.
what is it? And Karen, of course.
Yay.
And oh
Happy
God,
birthday, Karen.
happy birthday.
Tomorrow.
Um, what was this? There was another one on here. When you get a chance, you might want to. Erica
Oh,
Riley says hello.
hi,
Hi, yes.
Erica.
So thanks, guys, for
Oh,
putting up kind words. Looks great. It really, really does, Tiny Bean.
thank you.
And if you had to say, all right, you know what, guys, I'm going to sign off, and I'm gonna go watch something. What would it be today?
I honestly, I would wish that it was Tuesday and the next episode of Paradise was up.
I was
Because
Whoa.
I was waiting
it,
for the Super Bowl halftime show.
No,
I
wow.
I turned that off and I put Prince on from the 2007 Super Bowl because that's my favorite.
There you go.
But yeah, no, but yeah,
Oops.
so much secrets. There's so much stuff going on in the
Oh, like it.
background, so many twists. And yeah, I have to like literally what I said is all I can say. Because
Awesome.
yeah,
I'm
um,
in.
yeah,
I'm
and of
totally in.
course, Severance. Are you watching the new season?
No,
Because
I haven't watched. I haven't started.
I
I
haven't
saw
watched the
last
first
season.
season.
No, first season was
ah,
great. Oh my God. The whole
hmm
concept and idea is just like, wow, really
hmm
good. Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Pete, you're gonna
So
love the second season. They're
cool.
not. It's not a letdown at all. It's even better.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Tiny Bean, thank you so much for doing what you do. And we're looking forward to your next appearance here on IFB, and then we'll have some other stuff to announce, I'm sure. In the meantime, you're going to see if there's any other, pictures or maybe a video clip from the show that you
Somebody had
did
to
so
do
we can
something,
share
right?
that.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to have
Yeah,
something. We'd love
definitely.
to. Yeah, please keep sharing. Everybody enjoys that stuff. We sure do, and I know everybody out that's watching either now or watch later, they appreciate it as well. And it's really it's humbling. Thank you everybody for tuning in, supporting us with your thumbs up and the likes and the hearts and everything else on our social media. It helps a lot so that we can get the right algorithm cooking and working.
Yeah.
So thank you guys,
Yeah.
and thank you,
Fantastic.
Tiny Bean.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
J.E.
guys.
Parks
Yeah.
says their daughter just sprung Severance on me last weekend. May have to check it out. So
Oh,
they,
excellent. Good
your
deal.
your recommendations are going far, sir.
Mm.
Farther
Oh
and
yeah,
farther.
Amazing. I love it.
Severance is good.
It's
Very
really
good. Well,
good.
Tiny Bean, thank you again. And
Okay.
hope to see you soon. We'll have some more, and we'll have some surprises next time you're up, okay?
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. All right. Enjoy, guys. I'll be
Yep.
All right.
watching.
All the best. Thank you. All right, cheers. So our
So,
next guest, we've had Rick on before.
mhm.
Rick's an author, writer. He's got a bunch of awards that he's gotten from, I believe, was the last time we had him on. This is definitely something that's continuing to evolve, and he's
Hmm.
doing more, and it's just great. It's one of those connections with fellow sci-fi fan, right? That we had on the show, and then Rick follows us. I like almost religiously. It's rare when I don't see him
Yeah,
come
no,
on, and yeah, it's so cool, and we love it. We love it,
yep,
right? I mean, and so we want to make
yeah,
sure that we got the word out, right? Let
right.
everybody know that Rick's working. He's a fan. He's writing. He's got some really cool stuff, and it kind of builds that segue for us to then talk about how to build fan fiction or how to do that, and we'll have
Yeah,
two
and
of
where
the
fan fiction can take
experts.
you. I mean,
Yeah,
somebody like Rick has got some. He's lived the dream that some of us haven't done yet. So he's been able to
exactly.
create things and get them published, get them out of his brain and put them on paper, which some of us stall at that. So
Hmm.
it's impressive when somebody can actually do that. And hopefully they inspire some of our people that are watching to do the same. Get that out there. Put that fanzine together. Put that fan fiction together. Start out small, work your way up, and there's sky's the limit. It really is. So thank you for coming on.
All right. Well, welcome, Rick. What's up, buddy?
Yep, hang on. I really need to get
To be
that
back.
fixed.
Absolutely. So, Rick, we last time you came on, you had told us about some of the things that you're writing. You had, you've done stuff, you continue to do,
Yep.
and now the latest work that is featured on Amazon Prime books is Zeta 5 Path of the One,
Yep.
and we're gonna put a link to the to Amazon, right, to make sure for any of the fans that might be interested in this, please go ahead, click the link, take care of that,
Yeah,
pick up a
absolutely. Yeah.
copy. And there's a hardcover, there's a paperback. Are we gonna do audio too for this one?
I'd like to do audio, but right now it's a little cost prohibitive.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, last
Huh.
time I checked, it was about 10 grand to do. For
Wow.
the size of book that I have, yeah, I was quoted 10 grand. So
Wow,
yeah, that's a
yeah.
little,
But but but
yeah.
based on so far, Rick, 2024 International Impact Book Awards winner for science
Yes.
fiction slash fantasy and space adventures, and also the 2024 Global Book Award, a silver medal in the category action and adventure fantasy. So,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
and
Oh,
and
yeah, that was a complete surprise to me.
that is
So the
so cool.
Impact Book Award I got just before Christmas. I got the email for that. It was, you read the email and it's like, okay, what's the gimmick here? And then you start to read further and realize, no, this is a real award. You did really win it. And it's like, awesome. I was completely elated by it. And then a week later, I get the notice for the Global Book Awards. So I got them within a week of each other. So I was really surprised at that, but completely elated. And I got decals for both of them. So if you look at the book, you can see
Oh,
the.
oh, that's cool.
Oop, hang on. I get you. Hang on.
Yep,
Which
that's
channel are we
it.
on?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Well, congratulations,
Thank
Rick.
you.
Congratulations. Well deserved, obviously. And, there's going to be, I believe there is more to this because, um, you're right. This is
Yes. So
not a one-off, right?
no, this is not a one-off.
Okay.
So when I first wrote the book, I, like like Chris said, or like Pete said, is when I first did the book, I got it out there. I was able to do what I wanted to do. I got it out there, and probably maybe a month and a half later, it's like, no, maybe there's more to it. So I came up with a scenario and started, and I've been writing ever since. So I've completed three other books in the series. So I've got books one, two, and two books 1 through 4 done. Book 1 is published. Hopefully, I can get book 2 published this year if I can get more of a following to book 1. And then I'm 6 chapters into book 5.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Hey, and so Rick, you gotta tell us about, what does it take to create this is an it's an original, right? This is all you
yes. It's all
it
me.
came
Yep.
right out of your head. You created this, and now
Yes.
you've written multiple volumes are pending, and you're an award, it's won awards. How does this happen, Rick? Give us the cliff notes on how do you kind of make this happen?
Well, yeah. So like when I was on with you guys first time, the way I present the book is it's Dune meets Game of Thrones meets Stargate. So
Nice.
that's kind of the scenario that I put together for how I wanted to craft the book. Um, and so, as I started to go through, um, I always wanted to write. And after I retired and did a bunch of remodeling for my wife to get her where she was content a little bit, then it's like, okay, what do I want to do? And so that's where I started off with. And when they re-released Dune, and I watched it a few times, it's like, okay, everything's percolating in my mind, and that's when I came together. I put a list of characters together that I thought should be in the book, and put a little backstory for each one of them, so that way I had something to start the book from, and it just kind of took off from there. So it only took me a little over 6 months to write the first book, and it's been
Wow.
the same way with the next three. Those have been 6 months, about 6 months each to write those. The fifth one's been a little slower, but that's because there's been a lot going on here that so I haven't really been able to focus on it as much. But I've got pretty much the plot put together how I want it to go. And the problem is the way that I have the plot put together, that book's going to be at least as big as the first one. The the next three books aren't quite as big. The the first book 2 and book 3 are about 300 pages, and book 4 is about 400 pages. Or
Wow.
yeah,
That is that is incredible, Rick. That's really cool. You're giving back to, the sci-fi fantasy world in your own way,
absolutely.
and it's
Yes,
really cool that you got that. Let's also mention that it's a Kindle. You have the Kindle version as well is out there.
yes, yeah. I have the Kindle version as well, and also on the from the 27th through the 29th, I'm actually going to be doing a free promotion for the Kindle. So anybody that wants can pick up the Kindle for free, the 27th through the 29th.
Oh, fantastic. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Hey Rick, you gotta
Yes.
show off your trophy
Yeah, we
and
had
Okay.
somebody on a couple of weeks ago that had. Oh wow, there you
Yeah.
go.
oh,
So
that's
that's
cool.
the International Impact Book Award trophy,
Sweet. Oh, that's cool.
and then there's the
Shiny.
medallion for the global.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought that was Skywalker's medal from Yavin. That's what I thought that was.
Yeah. Exactly.
Very
Looks
cool,
a lot
man.
like it. Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool, Rick.
So
Congratulations for that.
thank you.
Um, so I mean, you're writing, you're doing this stuff. In a perfect world, obviously everything you said is going to be published. Would you then, I mean, do you have a vision for it to go into maybe say graphic novel, do you see it going into something else, or do you have those kind of
Yeah, so from my view, based on the way that the book is written and some of the stuff that I've read is there's a lot of sci-fi stuff that's out there that they would like to do, and with my book, it wouldn't take a lot of special effects. I mean, it's there's going to be some stuff that they're going to have to do with the different worlds that I've done and a little bit of space flight and the rest of it, and kind of the way that Zeta 5 is constructed, but I would think that it would make an awesome movie. And with the other books, they could continue on as part of the series as well.
Well, that is so cool. Rick, we want to make sure that we support you like you support us. So
Absolutely.
I
You can
believe
have it.
that Tipsy Toaster is going to put in an active link. So if
Yep, I did
anybody
that.
wants
Yep.
to, perfect. If anybody wants to pick that up,
Awesome. Thank
go
you
right
guys.
ahead, jump on that link, and then you'll show support for IFB and for Rick's work. And so, Rick, when anything else, right, when you're ready, you get that word, you're going to be publishing
Yep.
or whatever it may be, hopefully maybe another award, Rick, or another milestone, please let us know because we want to make sure that we
Absolutely.
support you
Yeah.
guys out there that are helping and make, keeping the dreams alive, man, because not everybody is. Some people like Tipsy was saying, Rick, like it takes a lot of dedication to write, whether it be fan fiction or like what you did, you created your own world, right? It takes a lot. It's
Yes.
not a simple thing. And you've done it, and it's cool. And we're proud that you're a part of the IFB world. So thank you very much, Rick,
Well,
for
uh,
taking the time out. And I
well,
invite you to
thank
stay
you.
with us. Stay on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to.
Cool.
I enjoy hanging out with you guys. You guys
All
are a lot of
right.
fun. I enjoy
Fantastic.
watching it every week.
Thank you, Rick. So, well, so that being what it is, and since you're going to
Yes.
stick with us, we've lined up a couple of the legacies that are still around, still involved. Professor Patton, who is actually on, waiting to come on. We've also extended the invitation to superfan Fran Severn, who's also a writer, and they were and still are writers. Professor Patton is prolific. He's been doing a lot of this for decades. Superfan
Awesome.
Fran wrote three fiction novels back in the day and continues to dabble as well. They actually picked a book to or a story for us to read so that we could share, which we did. We put up the links, and I think Fran is now with us. Good, and she's got her Battlestar Galactica T-shirt. You guys will see when we bring her up. But I also, I mentioned on IFB before, I actually didn't get into the Battlestar fan fiction stuff, but I was familiar. I knew all about it because I'd read Star Trek stuff, Rick. I don't know if you ever got a chance
Yeah.
to read any of that. So I happened to open up the segment. I didn't bring a Galactica because I didn't want to. It was either Tipsy Toaster would do it or I would, but this is a fan produced magazine that came out back in the
What's
70s.
the name of the company?
And yeah, let me just get this. So this is from my personal collection, hasn't seen the light of day in 30 years. And this is Trek, the magazine for Star Trek fans. And this is number 10. And in here is really, I mean, the ads in here are very, very cool. And there is fan fiction. There's fan fiction here. Let me just show you a little bit of a brief look at Kirk's career. Um, Illustrated. These are like, magazine quality pages, good stuff, which is rare in the world of fan stuff. But recipe for a starship captain. Here's a story
Great.
there, and these are these things would cover conventions, the whole thing on Bill Shatner. These are great pictures. I haven't seen these pictures before.
God.
So there's actually there's a tarantula on his face on that. That's
Yeah.
nuts.
No, thanks.
Let's see, Trek Roundtable, right? So each one of these magazines, focused on separate things. The psychology of Captain Kirk's popularity. That's interesting. So
I know what the psychology
I've not
is.
read this one, but
There we go.
Captain Kirk's duties there. So there's some cool stuff. And so Trek was one of the original shows that created and brought about a big following for, fan fiction. And of course, by the time Battlestar Galactica in 1978 came around, there was I believe almost immediately there was fan fiction being written. And I think this is the perfect point to then bring on everybody together, Rick and the professor and Fran, of course. And welcome everybody. Welcome back to the show. All of you have been back. Someday we're gonna do one of those SNLs where it's like the 5 year what is it, the 5 year or club or the 10 club or whatever it is, because you guys have all been on here before. Thank you very much. Professor and Fran, you guys recommended Perceptions of Reality. It's a Battlestar Galactica fan fiction story, which is very good. Why don't you guys tell me why? Why did you come to select that one?
Well, I chose it. First off, Lisa Zaza is an incredible writer. If you go to the Galactica fan Return of Kane, it's the Return of Ibley. It resolves the Baltar story. It's big character development for Starbuck. And when it's over, it has kind of picked it up and moved it to where the saga could have gone. It's a lot of advancement. So many of the stories are really good, but they're kind of stuck in one place. And after a while, it's kind of a one-note symphony. How many variations, how many adventures, whatever. So this one, briefly, Ibley returns, but he's in the guise of the leader of these people that have been destroyed by the Cylons. And he's on the peg, and he tells Kane that Kane will be his instrument of revenge. Kane thinks the guy his name's Tartarus, wants to get rid of get back at the Cylons and allow Kane to get back at Baltar. But Kane doesn't know anything about Ibley and how Ibley really wants to get back at Apollo and Adama for refusing him. Starbuck, early in the story, saves Apollo from a pinwheel attack, and in so doing, he's hit, he crashes, and he burns, and it's quite graphic. But he wakes up, and he's on the peg, and he's fine. And he's told that these Delphinian people have a fantastic medical thing, and they save him. But there's this sense all the way through it that something is off. Starbuck can't remember things. It's this sense of evil. There's sense of something off. They find out where Baltar is, and Kane orders Starbuck to go kill Baltar, execute him. And they have a discussion about the morality, the military versus the civilian, yada, yada, yada. Starbuck does it. But he feels nothing. He's like numb. Then Kane thinks he's vindicated, taking care of Baltar. But Tartarus says, no. Now you owe me. I'm not done yet. They get to the G. Some stuff happens. Kane goes over to the G to talk to Adama. And he says, let me tell you, I'm not sure about Starbuck. Because when we found him, first off, he's not where he should have wrecked. When the G got to where his plane should have been, there was nothing there. The Pegasus finds Starbuck way away from where anything should have happened. And he tells Adama, this was not a body, it was a lump of charcoal. He was dead. And now he's revived and he's fine. And there's a lot of concern about his evil. They think, and Adama says, let me tell you about this guy we met named Ibley.
Yay! Ibley rules.
So now they're
that effect.
Starbuck may be the instrument of revenge. Be that way. Starbuck, meanwhile, back on the peg, is being egged on by Tartarus, who he now he's still not sure who he is. And he tells Starbuck his fate is soon to be decided. And if he decides to follow the course that has been destined for him, or resist. And if he resists, and Starbuck has this vision of him dying again. Oh. And Tartarus tells Starbuck, you will know when it is time to make the decision. When Starbuck is reunited with Apollo and keeps saying he doesn't understand, doesn't remember, and Starbuck says, do you remember Ibley? Poof, everything comes back. He now knows. So they realize that whatever Ibley has planned, he's using Starbuck to get revenge at Apollo and Adama for defying him. The Cylons attack. Say yay. Go ahead, Chris. Cheer. The Cylons attack. And as they attack, Tartarus turns to Kane and says, "It has begun." And he and the Delphiniums vanish. Starbuck is Apollo's wingman again. It's exactly like the first attack. And he realizes that's the moment. If he saves Apollo, he will die and die horribly. If he uh, lets Apollo die, he'll be fine. But he's almost insulted when he realizes that this is the moment. That Ibley really thinks that being strike captain on the Pegasus and having girls and that's enough to sway him to go follow him. And he realizes that Ibley has no concept of love or loyalty or decency or ethics. He just doesn't get it. So, of course, Starbuck saves Apollo. He crashes, he burns. This time, Apollo and Boomer show up and get him out in time. At the end of the story, the two ships will now be working together. Starbuck will be the strike commander on the Pegasus. Apollo will have that position on the G, and it's clear that they are going to be working together. And it was just a really good story, moves everybody forward. Starbuck, remember, never had to say no to Ibley. He was never really challenged. So now he had the challenge. He has now turned Ibley down. And I just thought it was a great story. And just great character development and great plotting, and I really liked it.
And Cylons win. Cylons wins and countably. They were good.
Yeah,
Lisa's been a valuable contributor with a lot of stories down through the decades, not just with this story reception.
She's so good.
Got a great, she has her Empyrean Universe trilogy of stories, which is Cast a Long Shadow. She's contributed a number of early stories the virtual season. She's still doing some beta reading for the ongoing thing. So even though she's kind of a little bit more semi-retired now from the full-blown writing, she still keeps her finger on the pulse of it. And a couple other things.
I keep nagging her to go and move on with this because I know she has some great ideas.
Some of those things. I know I did try to reach out to her to see if she might have been interested in participating with us here tonight as well, but unfortunately she got back to me and said she was actually having a procedure today, a minor. So I just hope she'll be doing fine with that. But again, like I say, she's never left it completely. And of course, in revisiting, this story itself, I know again that brought back some memories for me. She wrote that I think at the time when our fanfic email list started, and she gives a shout out to another writer from those days, Maggie Hutchison, at the end, beta reading, and Maggie was a very big contributor to the virtual season in the early days too. And I did get at least a personal chunk for myself as how when we've worked together so much as this kind of community, of course, you have that sharing of elements of concepts and characters cross-pollinate into stories. And I did smile noting that she took the name I'd coined for Commander Kane's wife, Sheba's mother, Bethany, which I had come up with in a 90s fanfic thing, and sort of in our communities kind of become a sort of an unofficial name for that character. And also in reading again, of course, capitalized on things. One of the other plot developments where Starbuck is hearing from Kane. Oh, Kane is telling Starbuck, and by the way, I'm your father here.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that moment where we as a reader are then instantly cued in. Well, now wait a minute. No, it's when's the other shoe going to drop here? What are we going to find out here for the next? And that's again the mark where we know something is off here, and we're kind of wondering, well, what's it going to be? Are we going to discover that certainly Ibley's got to be involved? Or are we going to find out that is Kane real here, or is it maybe is Starbuck in a totally other? I mean, kind of. I think at least she played it so very well, letting us, being able to guess about what is this going to come to. But by giving us that one early warning signal that we know we're got to be bracing for this development.
Very cool. So, Professor Patton, you continue to write. I believe you have the series that you've been working on for a very long time. You were hoping
20 years.
Yeah, you were hoping to wrap that up. How's that going?
Well, after taking a couple of months off, I just started really in the last week episode number 8 of season 6, which is going to be the final season. And I envision that it is going to take the usual 17 stories in the course of a season to bring it to fruition. And I'm kind of at this cusp point where this is going to be the last story that really reflects a purely sort of original idea, and then everything that's going to follow in the remaining 9 is basically going to be geared toward bringing the whole end game elements together. I mean, bringing the multiple things that tie into the end game together. They'll need that time to develop. But so if there are any other story ideas that are independent of that, get those done now before we clutter the landscape too much. And I had one idea I wanted to get out of my head, because this is going to be sort of a riff on an old Twilight Zone episode, original Twilight Zone episode called On Thursday We Leave for Home, which was, in my opinion, one of the best hour-long Twilight Zone episodes. And I've seen a lot of stories here, not just in the virtual season, elsewhere, where you encounter a civilization and some of them will maybe come with and join the fleet and be part of this, or others say, no, we don't want to join you, we want to stay put here. And then okay, we respect that. Okay, you stay on, whatever. But I've noticed there's never been really the dilemma. What if you run the thing where the people want to come, but say here's a leader who doesn't want to let go of them here for whatever reason? In this case, since this will involve another group of, since we've had in the virtual season the element of Earth prisoners, in this case, this will be a group that had been abducted at one point decades earlier, then left to their own devices. And so somebody did the difficult work of bringing them all together, helping them survive, like the James Whitmore character in the Twilight Zone episode, but over the decades becomes a bit of a tyrant. So the idea is trying to put a situation of how do you handle this type of situation? And basically that's kind of what I'm working on this, and there are ongoing subplots to be advanced. But once this story is done, then the full effort's got to be devoted to the wrapping this all up here. Take every little thread that's outstanding and bring it all together. And there are multiple fronts that have been in place here that so that finally, when we get to the end of this, it's all done. There isn't any smooth threads left unturned here, and this 20-year project can finally be done. And still getting some help from people, contributing. Lisa wrote a short story earlier in the season. It was nice. She found time for that. My friend Andrew, who's still the other active writer, still does some things. But everything else that the 6 other writers who are no longer active, I want to do justice to them and make certain that their work is not forgotten, and that the things they did are into, so that when going back, we know that everything that happened, even if wasn't fully intended, what they did was for a reason, and we're going to make certain that they all made their mark in some way. Because I do think I do have a good gift for the story editing role, of being able to look back and say, okay, make sure we kept the continuity straight and things like that, because that's an easy thing to lose track of in any type of long continuum, but we're trying to avoid it here.
Of course. But so it's remarkable that Battlestar has continued to live on, and you've been doing writing for decades. As a matter of fact, the story that you guys recommended is it's from 2007. It was published January 12, 2007. But I know that you guys have been fans and involved way before that. I know that Fran, you still dabble and you still, writing stories and stuff, just like Professor
My
Patton.
break. It's my break.
Love the show. How do you keep these lines of creativity going? A lot of times great shows on television would say to you, look, we've explored so many different avenues of the characters and their stories that, it's good that we're going to come to an end. And yet, it seems like, Professor, you've been writing a continuation, a version, and Fran, we've talked about, you've pitched stories and lines and stuff for, for other new Galactica original character stories that just like, wow, that's incredible. And then Rick, you've been writing just your own stuff, but how does the creativity, play with each one of you guys? How do you do that? How do you make it happen?
Well, for me, it's like I said, it's my escape from reality, and I'm a big one for what would happen if. And I would like to, okay, where I used to live, there's a river called the Chop Tank River. It flows into the Chesapeake Bay. It's very broad. It's very shallow, and the bridge across it, which is very wide, and it's like a mile and a third long. And when you're leaving, headed north, you're leaving a more settled area, and you're going north, and it's dark, and it's like, okay, I'm in my bedroom, and coming back, you're going into a more settled area. You got to watch for the cops. And I'm thinking, okay, now I'm coming back, and okay, I'm on a shuttle, and where would I have been, and who am I with, and okay, and it just start to play with this, so that if I'm coming back, say I'm imagining I'm on the shuttle, who am I with? Okay, um, let's say I'm I'm in Starbuck mode. And let's say that I'm flying with Adama, and Adama takes the controls for a bit because as a pilot, even though he's the commander, he has to be keeping current to a certain point. Or where else could they be if they have to do their actual fly time, actual time in a Viper? Who would fly with whom? Ty wouldn't want to fly with Starbuck. Starbuck's the guy you fly with when you're sharpening your skills. Boomer will tell Ty what Ty needs to hear. Apollo will tell Ty what Ty he wants Ty to hear. So you start playing with this. Where could they be that they will be all on this? What kind of mission? Well, maybe they're flying with students for the first time. And maybe the students are going into atmosphere and out of a planet and learning to plan. What might they find there? You just start playing with ideas. If I'm out wandering around, I had this one. There's a store called Ulta, which is makeup. And I said, okay, let's say there's some place and it's the mercantile vessel, and they've got a place like that. And the girls all go in, and the guys are going to go to the hardware store, but they'll catch up. And they walk into this makeup and girly stuff. What are the guys going to do? Starbucks going to go buy perfume for Cassie. But what are the others going to do? Put them in this situation and see what happens. And that just starts things. Sometimes you get an idea, some you don't. The thing I'm playing with right now is that somebody posted a really good picture of the head of the Imperious leader. Oh, I've never really seen that. And then some other site, it was not a Battlestar site. There's a site that it does something with a lot of it is very intriguing planets and landscapes and buildings, all of which I save. But somebody had posted something that was a lizard person. And I thought, well, son of a gun, put the head on it. That's one of the original Cylons. So what would happen if some of the original Cylons said they didn't want to be augmented and turned into machines? Where would they have gone, and what would they have happened to them? And what happens if the guys run into them one day? And that's what I'm working.
Wow. So, Fran, that's a heck of an inspiration, a heck of a tool, like a sort of like a methodology to doing. Professor, is that something that you employ, or what's your trick?
Well, I've said I've kind of, in a sense, and one reason why the virtual season's been great for me is that my weakness is coming up with the original alien races and planet landscapes. That's I've always tended to be a little bit stronger, sticking with the characters, kind of shipbound within the fleet, or doing more or less the thing, and those kinds of interactions. It's usually been a little bit easier to do that. But when I have had the luxury of taking advantage of what some other people have done with their alien race creations, then bang, I say, okay, you've given me a template, now I can integrate it here. That'll at least boost my confidence a little bit more. I've kind of learned, I think, over the decades to recognize my own limitations to the degree. Rick, he's kind of proved here that when you have the ability to create a purely original universe, to be able to take that requires a lot of confidence. I mean, in the fanfic world, we're dealing with the safety nets here of this has all been packaged for us here. Basically, the the character names. We don't have to spend that time. I mean, we might think, oh, well, I can maybe improve them around the edge. I mean, in fanfic, we're sort of just saying we can improve maybe them around the edges, or maybe we can tell one of these stories. But to have the confidence to go to something purely and wholly original, it requires an extra level. And I again envy those who are able to do it in that respect. But and that's why, again, at least when I have to see the elements of at least branching out in a Galactica story, something that's a new alien race. Well, I'm just glad that there have been some other writers who can give me some helpful things, and then I feel like, okay, now I'm back in the safe mode. Here's another template I can work in, and then I'm confident enough to write a whole story around them and about that, and and that's fine. But that I think is the way. But then again, I think it's back to where my comfort zone tends to be, maybe sticking within the parameters of the pre-existing universe and milking that for what it's worth.
Rick, I know that writing sometimes, depending on what it is that you're writing, sometimes characters can just start to live on their own, and then you get a feel for them, and they kind of like start to, like, no, they wouldn't say that, right? Even though you're creating them, you're like, nah, they won't speak like that. They wouldn't do that. Tell me about your experience creating your worlds.
Well, no, so you're absolutely right. Like I said, when I first started the first book, I sat down and wrote down the characters and kind of did a backstory of who they were and where they came from and what direction they would be going. And that's exactly right. When you start writing it, it's like, nah, this character isn't really going to do that, or isn't really say that, or she isn't going to do it this way, and she's not going to follow this path. She's going to do it this way. And you're right. So as you start writing, and it kind of morphs itself into its own scenario when you start putting all these characters together, because then they start to gel together, and you got to figure out a way for them to be cohesive when you do that.
Very cool. Yeah, I've seen that happen. Doing when I've written a couple of screenplays and had a few shorts made, film wise, and I've seen how that happens. And then, but I've also seen how a good actor can breathe life into something that you've written, right? And you've given them a structure, but then they bring a whole other quality because it's now in front of you alive, acting and talking and speaking.
Right.
But I just want to take a quick second to welcome our couple of other guests that I saw pop on, and our very own Captain Martin. So speaking of, creativity and coming to life, George Zuvalos, the star of Stranded Warrior, I believe he's still on with us, but thank you, George, for popping on, dropping in. Really appreciate you, and much success for your project, Once a Week for Life. It's looking like that's going to be moving very fast. Hopefully we'll be seeing that on the screen somewhere. Looking forward to that. Thank you for doing Captain Martin for us, and that is slowly but surely making its way to that final stage. And Baz from Down Under, I saw he had popped on as well, and he's working hard to get that Mark II Viper 1-to-1 scale out and about. And so if you guys are in the market for some custom made cutlery, Baz hand makes those knives. Go to his site, please. And he's collecting, raising money for
Builds by Baz, yes.
Builds by Baz, because he's looking to, I believe, upgrade the trailer, if I'm not mistaken. But we're gonna have him back.
Needs a better truck to pull the trailer.
Yeah, it needs a better truck. So we're gonna have him on. We're gonna bring him back to give us an update on the Mark II Viper is done, and it's been out at least once, and he's learned a lot from the trials and tribulations. So thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate that. So quick comment from our unofficial fact checker, Rob Bounds, says, I thought the original Cylon lizard amphibians were extinct.
Negative.
As far as Apollo knew.
Hang on, I have something for that one. I have something for that one.
You actually believe that, Daddy Drivel?
I don't think it was ever made clear, as many things in the show were never made clear. But it was basically they gave in and they all augment here, we'll turn that, and eventually kind of became. But what if people said, well, or the Cylons said, well, I don't want to be augmented. So what happens to them? They have to leave. There is another story that's called
There's a,
Persistence of Memory.
Okay.
And in it, one of the questions with the series is if they were machines, why do they have atmosphere on their base stars? Good question.
For the human
and they
prisoners.
discover that there's actually a tiny yeah, really, there's a tiny bit of organic material still in them, so they need to have oxygen or an atmosphere. And they figure out how to exploit this. And the question becomes, if they exploit this, they can destroy the Cylons. Absolute, all of them will be gone. Which leads to the question of, is it's genocide if you're going after them before they kill you because they're planning to do genocide on you? It's a very interesting question. It's another very good story.
wow.
And that one is, what did I say? Persistence of Memory. Really
Wow.
good. Yeah,
So,
it's very, very
So
thought-provoking
much
story.
the Cylons have the capacity in their robot. Do they have even the capacity in their robotic state to change and become more sentient and think back? I mean, because one of the themes of the virtual season is that we've had a lot of these Cylons suddenly switching sides for one reason.
Oh, Feldercarb.
Ooh, that's
And
good.
the
I like
photos
that.
behind that. I mean, this is why early on I had Baltar actually take advantage of sensing this. It gave him this opening to defect back to the colonial side, and for the bulk of the virtual season, he's actually been been behaving himself, so to speak. And but I found that was actually the only reason to keep Baltar around as a regular character, because when you get into a long continuum, it's hard to keep him as a villain unless you're going to have him once every 15 or 20 stories. Because if you made him too regular, he as a villain character, he wouldn't be credible. You'd have to either kill him off, as we saw, of course, in Lisa's story here, as seemingly the way to go, or you've got to think outside the box in another way, as it turned out. But the element of at least the Cylon origins is always a fascinating thing, because you're always wondering where's the Ibli connection, because War of the Gods gives you that tantalizing hint that there is this connection here to the origin of the Cylon robotic race and the downfall of the original race. And I always will say that the greatest thing about Galactica is how that element, which is so important to the mythos, literally came on the spur of the moment, because that whole Ibli has the same voice as the Imperious leader is not in the first draft script of War of the Gods. Total rewrite to take advantage of the fact that they got Patrick McNee on the part.
Yep.
Completely. and if they had not
Thank goodness for that.
And if they had not done that, how much poorer the whole Galactica mythos would be as a consequence.
Mythos, yeah.
Agreed. So I have a challenge for you, Fran, and Professor Patton, and so I'm gonna ask you guys to do something for the fans, and then Rick and I will have a separate conversation while you guys kind of catch up. I would like it very much if the two of you made some recommendations. So you recommended this story, right? Perceptions of Reality. We put up the link. Hopefully the fans will get a chance to read that if they haven't. It's tremendously good. I really enjoyed it myself. If you could each recommend another two, so whether your own or
And why?
I mean,
and why do you recommend them?
One of my favorites, of course, is doing. I'll let you guys, and then we'll talk about what you guys have to say in terms of maybe some recommendations, and then put them up
And
so that we.
I think
can
we need
share
to
those.
preference this one also.
Yeah.
It can't be one of your own.
Okay, so we'll make it, okay, fair enough. But however, there is
Yours are too good. You can't do that. You pick
and
somebody
then we're going to
else's.
follow up with Rob Baum put up a really, really good comment, and we'll follow it up afterwards. But so Rick, did you
Yes.
ever read fan fiction in your past? Was that ever something that you came across?
Um, I did um, probably just at the beginning years of high school, but then after that, I got more involved with cars and racing, and so it kind of
Woo!
took off that way. So
Fumes.
yeah, I was, yeah, I was the high school mechanic. I was the guy that made everybody's car faster. So,
I'm there with you. Which one's your favorite car that you worked on?
so actually, I started out with the '68 Torino. Then I traded that for a '70 Mach 1. And while
Ford
I had the
guy.
'70 Mach 1, I bought a '65 Mustang and put in a 428 Cobra Jet.
Ah,
So I was one of the guys that you did not tell me that you can't do that. You can't put a big block in a small Mustang like that. And it's like, yeah, you can. And I found a way to do it. And I was actually able to do it. It looked almost like a factory install with headers and the rest of it. Um,
Very
so,
cool.
but yeah, but that's how I kind of grew up after that.
Rick, what if you were gonna pick a couple of favorite old shows and a couple of older sci-fi movies, what would they be?
Yeah. So yeah, so Forbidden Planet is the one that did it for me. I mean, once I saw that, I was hooked. And there was sci-fi from then on. And so Lost in Space was another good series for me. I love that show. That was on for quite a few years. And then as far as fantasy, it was like Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh,
Uh, I used to read a lot of stuff about the Vikings. I did a lot of used to read a lot of Greek mythology and that type of stuff. So that's kind of how I grew up with it.
cool. Very cool. So, since I put two of our guests on the spot, but I know they can handle the question. Let's see what Professor Patton and Superfan Fran came up with. Oh, yes, Fran is ready to give us some good recommendations to read fan fiction. Personally, I've been catching up, and thanks to Tipsy, I've been getting filling up some of the gaps in my collection, right? I shared this earlier. So I didn't read any of this stuff, other, like Battlestar fan fiction when I was younger. And, last several years now, I've been catching up and starting to read some of this, and it's super enjoyable. Like I said, my stuff was the Star Trek. I read plenty of Star Trek, fan fiction. Even some of the stuff had gotten published, right? The fan fiction reached certain levels that it actually was picked up and officially published. So I read a lot of that stuff. One quick side note is that there is a lot of fan fiction that's written about rock bands or bands in general.
yeah.
And that's just phenomenal. It just blew my mind when I found that out that there are, up until the pandemic, there were conventions, small get-togethers still to this day that were about fan fiction, but it's related to bands, music bands, which I was like, wow, that's just
Kiss had
incredible.
Bizarre.
great following. Yeah.
Yeah. If Tipsy, if you bring back
But
our guests,
you were talking about other fanzines. One of my I got just started collecting the Gold Coast, which is Miami Vice,
oh,
Oh yeah.
oh boy,
and
wow.
that's a fun fanzine to get a hold of. They're fun, and you get back in that Miami Vice era, the '80s, and you're like, oh yeah, this is cool. And
Yeah.
you can imagine some of the storylines that go with it. So there's detective novels, but with your favorite people. So
That's cool. All right,
easily
so
switch. I think you could easily switch those over to your own IP. Sometimes you look at
oh, I
something like
bet.
that and you go, I just changed a couple of names and a couple of locations, and I really have created my own universe out of this character. If it's not one of the exact characters from the show, so
Well, all right, so Professor Patton, I'll put you on the spot first. What recommendations have you made?
Well, the recommendation that I'm going to go of, again, according to these guidelines of the authors, is I'd like to recommend the first story, at least. That's more of a author who's no longer active, named Adam Stacy. He actually, back in the 1990s, really wrote the earliest forerunner to the whole virtual series concept. He did a series of what was supposed to be about 23 stories of one continuum, and he only ended up writing about 16 of them. Now, this was going to necessitate sending a link that is way back archive preserved, because the original is long defunct, although I have over the years downloaded all the stuff, but at least this way back link is still available with his old site with the stories he had, including even tantalizingly outlines of the stories he had planned to do, but never did. But it was the first inspiration to me of the idea that with so many of us doing either just one-shot stories, or maybe at the most two-part or trilogy-like stories, that there was something viable to the idea of doing something very, very long-term, trying to come up with ongoing subplots, and mixing in the new characters with the others, and even doing some bold steps along the way as part of this. So should be able to provide the links, at least maybe to his first story or first two stories, if maybe collectively that can be done.
Cool. All right, Fran, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to give you two URLs that you'll need to post so that people can have a good time. One of them is galacticafanfic.com, which is Robert Hansick's archive, in which the virtual seasons are on there. The other one is free Battlestar Galactica novels.weebly.com. He has a bunch of them. Some of them are the Sharon Monroe, Lee Storm novels. They did a series that was the Pegasus Chronicles, which is what happens to the Pegasus from the Battle of Molokai until they meet the G. Beautifully done. One of the novels on there that I really like is called The Alternative Conspiracy. Starbuck and Apollo end up in an alternate universe on Caprica shortly before the destruction, and they're trying to warn people. The fact that they've kind of switched bodies.
I've heard
and
of
Apollo
this.
is in the body of an Apollo who is brain dead. Yeah, oh, it's beautiful. And Starbuck ends up in the body of a woman, which leads to a lot of great stuff. But it works. It's not stupid. It works. So that's one I would recommend, and I'll give you the URLs and you can post it.
Okay, cool.
Another one is, as I said, Persistence of Memory, and then there's one, and I believe it's in it's in the Robert Hansick's thing, and it's called Mortalities, and it takes from some of the published novels that at one point one of the Cylons defects, and in this story, they're on a mission. Starbuck is hit with a Cylon weapon that basically leaves his left side useless. Ooh. And how he adapts and adjusts to that. It's more of a Starbuck Adama thing that Apollo kind of isn't supporting as one would hope. But it's a really beautiful story, and how everybody, Adama says at one point, I need to start changing things so that some of the characters are promoted and are moved into different positions. But it's a really good story. So it's called Mortalities. I cannot remember the name, and I wrote it down. And then Persistence of Memory, and then The Alternate Reality. And I'll send you the links for that, and you can post them for people.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for that. I'm going to now. This is it's sort of like a trivia question. It's really a good one though. Rob Bound wants to know, in writing fanfic, do you know if anybody has ever used the comic books, be they Marvel or the more recent ones, for storylines or premises?
I did with a in the virtual season as my gimmick for resurrecting Dama's wife Isla from the dead, because there was a Marvel comic story which has Boomer discovering a shuttle, and these are refugees from the colonies, and everyone inside is dead except Isla, who is telling her a story of what happened to the colonies after the Cylons took things over, and she ends up dying in his arms, and their dying breath is, "Don't tell Tom, my son." I mean, after Boomer tells her that, yeah, your husband and their son Apollo is safe, he doesn't mention, of course, the death of Zach, but at least it's to let her die with the knowledge, oh, they're safe, but don't ever tell him you found me. And Boomer emerges from this and keeps that all to himself here. And I just took the basic idea of Isla going out in a shuttle thing as a gimmick to from that to she's in a resistance movement in the colonies, and that she was trying to reach Adama but ends up getting picked up by the Pegasus instead, and so that allowed me to write a season's worth of stories of her on the Pegasus. Develop the character in a different way. But the Marvel Comics was a springboard for that, and I also took one character from the Marvel comic series, introduced a character who was sort of like, they called him his name was Shadrach, and he was always called the Master Technician, the guy who kind of handled the building. And, and that character's in the virtual season too. He was original.
One of the things that I've done, I've never used the comics. I just enjoy them for the artwork. It was so different from when I was growing up, and a comic was very set. Is that I've kind of got two timelines going, because Homecoming is one version of getting the boy home, and Loyalty Check is another. So they're kind of separate. And then there are the characters that are on the virtual seasons, and I'm very happy mixing stuff that in the Homecoming, Cylon or Cy goes off and has his own adventures at the end. And in Loyalty Check, when Starbuck's rescued, they bring all the broken Cylons back to the ship, and they put one together, and one is Cy, who says, "Oh, good, I'm here. Can I help?" And I'm keeping him, even though some of what happens is the other time. But I'm also very happy to I'm very happy to poach the characters off of the virtual season that I think, well, the singing, talking, walking plant is my favorite. He plays jazz. I love him. So there's some characters that I will take and kind of use when I wish. And, then there's the whole other thing of when they left Carolon, and, the aliens that were in the casino, do they end up on the ship too? What happens to them, which is something else that's percolating back here, but not yet.
Excellent. Thank you both very, very much for that. And Rob Baum, great question as usual. Andrew Carruthers, thank you for jumping on and writing up stuff. Yes. We appreciate that as well. And I know John 1 is with us, so we're going to shift over, guys. But listen, thank you so much for taking the time out. We're going to revisit this. So I think that in it's fan fiction, Battlestar Galactica. I mean, all fan fiction, but BSG and us, it resonates. I would like to redo another one of these. I'd rather not abandon, but actually set it up so that we have a recurring fan fiction reading like we did today. And we do that, every few months or so. Sure. We'll pick a new fan fiction recommendation and have you guys come back on, and then we'll talk about it and revisit and see where you're all at. Rick, of course, I know that you got like a whole bunch of new novels that are on the verge, award-winning. Yes, congratulations to that. That's so cool. So we want to make sure that we've put up a link to your book And then we put up some links to the fan fiction that was recommended, and your works, of course, both Professor and Fran as well. So, guys, thank you very much. Looking forward to the next one. And until then, stay frosty. Fans fuel the fleet, and remember to keep the faith. So, here's to all three of you for,
Before we go on that,
yeah, sure.
before we go on that, it would really be cool because it's kind of like a one-note symphony with me and Eric bouncing off. If people read the story and then I don't know, submit their ideas or their questions, and then we could answer them, and maybe even with the chats, get a little bit of a discussion going somehow.
Love it.
I don't know that if that's
Love it.
possible,
Yeah,
but I think
sure.
that
Why
would just
not?
be really cool.
Yeah.
All right. We
Yeah.
can post. I can post.
Sure, we can. We can do that. Why not? That would be
My
fantastic. As a
email, and
matter of
people
fact,
can write or to the IFB, and then we can get kind of a discussion going of what they thought of this story and thought of that story and whatever. That's
you know what?
the English teacher in me coming out.
Let's turn to Commander Kane. Paul, maybe we can coordinate with the Colonial Warriors and try to have the story that we're going to cover maybe on other platforms as well, or at least
Yeah.
other groups. And this way they'll know there, and then they'll know to come over here, and then we can kind of talk about it for that episode. I think that's a great idea. I think Tipsy he's a big fan fiction, right? Fanzine guy, Tipsy. I think that
Oh yeah.
that probably works, right? So let's definitely do this. I would like to make this a regular segment that we kind of promote every few months. We come on, like every quarter or so. We do a fan. There's so much of it, and we all love the fan fiction, and we love Galactica. So let's do this. So yeah, that's great. Professor and Fran, thank you. Rick, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Eric Engler, for this.
Thank you.
He made this for me. Is that like the coolest thing in the world?
Oh, absolutely.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
I was just stunned when he gave this to me. What a cool dude.
Well, here's to the fans. Thank you guys, and thank you guys, our guests here, for taking the time out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you all of you. So looking forward to the next time that we get to see you on here and maybe at a show. But very cool. We now have John One. John One's got his own review, and I got the sneak peek at some of what John One put together. But I want to bring him on, have him do his segment, and then do a little discussion and get some input from John. Love his stuff and his work. Hey, John, what's up, buddy?
Ah,
Good, man.
Oh, that was great, right? These guys
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
it's
or-
really cool. I really
That
like
was-
the
That
idea
was
of
pretty cool.
yeah,
So,
and that was again, that's a lot of work and thought that you've put into it. So thank you for working that out and having everybody come on. I mean everybody, right? And that includes Rick and Professor Patton and
Fran,
Fran. And doing maybe a recurring fanzine segment is great. I mean, I think it's cool. We get to
Yeah.
talk about our favorite show and stories and building and imagination. So how are things going on your end, John?
pretty good, hanging in there. Work stuff like that. Gonna get the best news for you. I got some good stuff for you, upcoming stuff, and
Cool.
going to a couple cons at the end of the month. So it should
Okay.
be fun.
Which one's he going to?
I'm gonna go to Long Island Horror Con.
Okay.
Check out some. I think James Aquilon's gonna be there, so I want to get some Kolchak comics.
Oh,
So
yes.
I'll have to send some your way. Get some for you.
Oh, heck yeah.
You and Chris, and then Jersey. I'm gonna go to New Jersey Comic Con on that Saturday, the 1st.
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah. Speaking of
think,
speaking of Kolchak, the audiobook for Kolchak's novels it just got released.
Yep.
I don't know
That's
if you.
right.
I pre-ordered it. I just got it 2 days ago.
And do you know who actually
Reads
voiced?
it?
Yep.
I know.
What?
Anybody else know?
I do.
Oh yeah, so do I. It's just incredible. It's
Yeah.
really cool how you bring different shows and actors and things together, and you make it into
You
one.
meld
and
it
it's
and
like,
the fan base, and then it's fantastic.
oh yeah. So that's
I really need to
cool.
get him on. I'm sure he would show up too.
Oh,
I think
it would.
it'd
Yeah,
be
it would
fun.
be really cool to have him
Yeah,
on.
reach out to him and talk about talked about his audiobook career that he's looking to do.
Yeah. Never mind his, his actual TV show that he was on.
Waiting to see if anybody knows.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody yet. So
we dropped a couple of hints. But all right. Well, by the way,
all I say is he's
John,
just the greatest.
Good. That's a nice, quite clever there, Tipsy. Quite clever. So John, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but over on the Tower Protocol Resurrection, our trailer has 57,100 views worldwide. So very proud of the work that all of you have done to make that come to life. Thank you very much.
Oh, that was fun to do. I learned a lot, and we had a good time, and it was fun. I hope we can do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. So just thank you and everybody else and the fans and everybody that are watching it. And it has a couple of dozen shares just independently, other people sharing it out there and the word's getting out. It's in the convention circuit now. The film festival around the world is it's in competition. So is the trailer. So Tower Protocol Resurrection is done and it's out, and so is the trailer. And we're working on the official poster, which will that'll go out into competition as well. And so who knows? I mean, the right people see it.
Get some
it's
wins.
Our own IP. It's the second part to a long story, the Tower Protocol, that began in 2004 with my first indie short that also won a couple awards back in the day. And so we bring back the main characters, and we'll see where that goes, John. But again, thank you for doing what you do.
I'm looking forward to hear about all the awards it's going to get.
Yeah, me too. Me too. As a matter of fact, you know what, John? I'm glad before you start your segment, I just wanted to mention this because I didn't put it up yet. And being that you've been involved not only here with IFB, I went back and I'm cataloging all of our shows. You were with us right from almost from the beginning of IFB. I think it was like the third episode you were on. And you've been a part of you're part of XG3 formally. You're a part of everything that we've been doing. We've also won another award internationally, and it's for the Maestro Award, which just came in a few days ago, and that's also for the trailer. So congratulations to the team and everybody, and especially the director, which is the Tipsy Toaster. So there's been yet another accolade. So that was a special selection post festival that they just gave us. So I'll be putting that up on our Facebook page. But I just wanted to share that with you.
Wow,
yeah, so we got yet another one. So very cool. So John, I think you got your thing ready to go, I hope, and I'm anxious to hear.
All right, we got a quick preview for things tonight. First up, based on a Stephen King short story, The Monkey, will be in theaters February 21st. That's about a bunch of twin brothers. Their father has like a monkey, and people die mysteriously around it because it's cursed, and they try to stop it, and 25 years later it comes by, and they have to band together and try to stop it because people die mysteriously. And if you see the trailer, it looks like one of those quirky, funny movies. That's why it's not the monkey from killing people. The monkey doesn't do anything; it just sits there and just smiles, and people just die around it. So it looks pretty funny. So that's gonna be good. So let's see. Matt Murdock and the crew will be back in Hell's Kitchen, running around fighting bad guys. Kingpin, Daredevil: Born Again debuts on Disney on March 4th. That looks pretty good. All the original crew from the Netflix series is on it. They all came back. The storyline looks pretty good. We're looking for the bad guys. Of course, Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be a Kingpin in it. And a couple of the bad guys. I'm not going to say. I won't be surprised. I think Punisher's going to come back on it too. John Bernthal. So it's going to be a great series. It's on Disney, so hopefully they don't get rid of the greediness that was on Netflix. But still, I'm looking forward to this series. It should be good. That's going to be out March 4th. And the Vision series, a spin-off from a spin-off, is shaping up with director Terry Matalas. He's the guy that did Picard, the third season. Will be directing. Nice. Well over 30 years for a sequel. That should be a record. Spaceballs 2 is in production. Mel Brooks and Josh Gad are making up this movie. It should be out by next year. And may the Schwartz be with you, because I don't think the original theater goers probably remember it. It's been so long.
Rick Moranis coming back? Come on.
We don't know. I hope so. You know,
Oh,
he
that'd be
can't be the bad guy
How
without
can
him.
you do it without him?
You know?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good. You know? And I haven't heard any casting yet, but I think what's that actress that was in Wicked? I forgot her name. She's going to be in it too. Oh God, Ariana Grande. So should be good. She's
As
pretty
Princess Vespa?
I don't know. Maybe Princess Vespa's great grandchild. Been so long since it came out.
Yeah.
We'll see. It should be funny. Hopefully.
Prince Valium.
May the Schwartz be with you, and Pizza the Hut. And Peter Dinklage has signed up to be the villain in the upcoming Dexter Resurrection series. He's going to be the villain. So on Paramount. So now I'm going to have to watch this series and see how he does it. But he's a good actor. Lord of the Rings, so it should be good. And that Dexter has a pretty good series. Good.
Yeah, don't sell him short. He's pretty good.
You know. Well,
That was bad.
Thumbs down.
I'll be here all week. Yeah.
This is going to be a classic defeat.
That series definitely won't have any shortcomings, so it should be good.
Is it like is it going to be a short series, or is it kind of going to be long? I mean, how many episodes are we talking about here?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't cut his acting career short, so I don't know. It should be pretty good. He might have a long guest host on that series. He's also going to be on the remake of Toxic Avenger. That's the Toxic Avenger coming out in August.
No.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to make a miniature from that.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Probably in the 15 millimeter range.
Oh boy.
And John Lithgow was signing up to be Albus Dumbledore in the upcoming Harry Potter series.
There's another series coming out?
Yep, TV series coming out. They're going to make it into a TV series on Disney, Harry Potter. So that's pretty cool.
That one.
And John Lithgow, he's a pretty good actor. He was in the the Old Man, that series on FX, and he was also in The Crown.
Yep.
Great actor. So that's going to be pretty cool. So that's going to be coming out by the end of the year too. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to that series. And let's see.
I thought he was best in Harry and the Hendersons, but that's just me.
Oh, Harry and the Hendersons. Oh, good one.
Third Rock from the Sun too. He was pretty funny in it.
Yeah.
And he was even Dexter too. He played the serial killer in Dexter too. So he was good. And so what else? Have you know now you saw the Fantastic Four trailer? All right, I'm not gonna rant. No, I'm gonna rant. You're gonna get a rant now. Everyone's gonna see a rant. So it was looking good up until that point where the thing started talking. You know, that's just the voice just annoyed me. You know, I okay, I can understand it. Try something different. But don't please, Marvel, just change the voice of the thing. Just it's not based on the '78 cartoon series where it talks rough, but believe me, that's just going to annoy people. Okay, all right, that's what I'm talking about. And no, the voice doesn't go with the thing like that. So, but it didn't do it for me. I'm not. Basing it on the '78 cartoon show where they had Herbie, the robot. He was based on the '78 cartoon show because Johnny Storm wasn't involved in it. Because
I was going to date myself there for a second. I thought you were talking about Herbie the Love Bug. But anyways.
No, that's the little robot that was in the Fantastic Four cartoon because Johnny Storm couldn't be on it because they wanted him to put him in a separate TV series. But it never, because his rights were bought out and they couldn't use him. That's why Johnny Storm wasn't in that cartoon series. So, but he's back in it, so it should be good. But the interesting thing about this is one of the posters that Marvel put out. It looks like it was painted, and there's and they're saying that it's
AI generated.
But now they're saying it's AI generated, and Marvel's saying no, it wasn't. But if you look at it, some of the arms and fingers, it was AI generated. So that's some of the pros and cons of AI. They could have had the artist do it. What's his name? I forgot his name, but he does all this. That's just like his writing material. But they did it AI, and then they came out the next day and they said, "Oh, that it wasn't us," and then this poster disappeared. So, so that's some of the pros and cons of AI. But that's to be it.
Just obey your robot overlords. We're okay with that.
Yeah. So And that's it. So should be Fantastic Four is probably going to kick off the Secret Wars, because if you look at the previews, you see the wormhole and Galactus comes and probably eats them. And they go into in our universe, and the Secret Wars kick off. And there's probably going to be a Robert Downey Jr. at the post credits. But whatever. Hopefully it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. I don't see Robert Downey as Dr. Doom, but all right, showbiz. And so what else we got? We got oh god. Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't be I'd be remiss in my porting abilities if I didn't tell you about the great horror stories we like to see sometimes. You know, the Meth Gator, Winnie the Pooh,
Zombievers,
Popeye, Zombie Beavers,
Zombievers,
all the great ones. And this is another one coming out. This one is called Screamboat. So, of course, you know, a bunch of kids go on a little boat and they unlock a mysterious monster, and it turns out to be a 2-inch mouse that runs out and kills people. Dressed up as like an old hobo version of Mickey Mouse.
Steamboat Willie, yeah.
Screamboat. Yeah.
Yep. Steamboat Willie.
Based on the Steamboat Willie series. So there's the old deranged Mickey Mouse with his little hat, and he runs out and he's actually like a foot tall, and he goes around and kills people. So that should be it.
We gotta watch that one together, guys.
How
Come on.
desperate were they to make that?
That's almost as good as Wolf Cop. Come on. We gotta watch that one too.
Boy, that's nuts.
I love me some bad movies now, and that's
this is gonna be one of those bad movies.
Yep. Cocaine Bear. Come on.
Wait, we should have like one of those shows like Mystery Theater 3000 where we watch this movie and we comment on it.
Oh no, that's just pretty bad, man.
And tomorrow is Captain America. Whole New World coming out tomorrow in theaters.
Oh boy, yeah,
and
Colin, this is crazy.
And if you haven't gone to the comic book series, look who's out.
Let's see.
What's
Move
out.
it over.
Over. There we go.
It finally came out. Doom number 1.
What?
Yeah, it just came out today. I think I got the last copy. I couldn't find it on the stands. Good thing they held it for me.
Wow.
It looks like an alligator.
Oh, the One World Under Doom. That's one of his animals, but that Doom's right over here. Doctors Doom and Baron Zemo come out and fight the Justice League and the Avengers and everybody else.
Whoa. Very cool.
That's out in comics now. There's some more comics
Very,
coming out.
very cool.
I'll tell you the next report.
Here, put that back up. Put that back up so we get a bigger picture here.
Yep. It's Doom. Doom number 1.
Wow.
Yeah, the World Under Doom.
Did you get a chance to read it yet?
Not yet. I'm afraid to touch it. I want to put it in my plastic and never touch it and look at it and then get greedy.
Oh boy.
Read it.
Oh boy. So John, awesome stuff, man. When I saw the slides for that crazy Mickey Mouse rip-off murder monster was like,
I love it.
I figured I had to throw that in there. I wanted to throw that in there. So
no, that was definitely good. John, you got a lineup for us. What's in store for next? Coming up near future IFB.
We got some good stuff coming up. Let's see, I got my favorite. I guess we're doing some stuff now. We got some actors. We got some special effects guys.
Cool.
Let's see. Next week we have Scott Goldberg. He's a movie director.
Awesome.
I think he directed the last movie that Sheri Duvall was in.
Nice.
He did that, and the 27th we have. We haven't heard from him yet, but he should be another Alan Lockhart. He should be coming on soon.
Okay.
In March we have Randy Cooper. He works as a special effects model guy.
Okay.
13th we have Dag E. Graves, another special effects model guy, good guy. And the 27th we have Brian Smith. He's an actor. He's in some zombie films. Just started out. He's an ex-Marine coming out in the movie industry, so he's going to come out and give us an interview.
Outstanding. All right. Very cool. So you got to make some room for we have there's Jay Rice who worked on the 80s or some of the classic 80s movies. We should squeeze him in somewhere, keep that in mind. And then there's as a matter of fact Dr. McCauley, who unfortunately was not able to come on. He's got a lineup for us, and he's put out some feelers for some heavy duty guests that I'm gonna have to get. You guys are gonna have to discuss because he's got a 2000 AD get related guest, big one. So we may have to do
Oh.
an exclusive with that one.
Okay.
He's big name, and so he'll be coming on. He's got a whole bunch of really big hitters for us as well. So
Oh, yeah.
we got a good lineup, guys. As a matter of fact, we're also gonna start bringing on some of the actors from the Tower Protocol Resurrection. So we'll get some more of those guys involved as well. Have them come around and have a quick talk on what their roles are, and then we're also going to discuss the future of the IP, right? Because there's things happening, and we will also revisit the quiz book, right? I got the blow ups there. We have another project that we're going to be working on, so that's something. So there's things happening, John, and thank you for lining all that and working on it and getting it going. Oh, by the way,
My
so
pleasure.
you did say you're going to convention. You're going to
Yeah.
the which ones again? Which ones
Long
again?
Island HorrorCon.
Okay.
It's February 28th.
There's a
to
HorrorCon.
March 2nd, and then there's
There's
then,
HorrorCon for you.
New Jersey HorrorCon, March 1st in Edison, New Jersey.
Let's edit
really?
that a little bit. We're a little close to Chris.
All right,
Bro.
cool.
So there's also
And-
one in there's also a steampunk convention next month in
Okay.
Baltimore, and I think
A
Dr.
steampunk.
Stoker's going to be there.
Really?
Yep, I might drive down there and take a see him.
Oh, interesting. That sounds really cool. So, yeah, all right, all good, all good. All right, John, thank you very much
right.
for coming on, doing what you do. You do it really well. Really appreciate you. And I did want to officially then share out. So, since we did talk about all the awards, tonight was kind of like we talked about Rick's awards.
Mhm.
Excuse me, we talked
Congratulations,
about.
Rick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
And
you.
no deserved.
we we
That's
discussed a little bit
Thank you. I
of
appreciate it.
the award, the latest award that we got for the trailer. So I know, Tipsy, you saw the email because I forwarded it to you,
Yes.
but we didn't put it out. We didn't announce it publicly till now. And so I'm just going to quickly.
find it.
It's with great pleasure the Calcutta International Cult Film Festival declares you as the maestro of cinema for our trailer. And so they handpicked some of the best submissions to their last film festival, the one that just happened, which was their eighth. And to honor that, they selected, whatever other projects were involved. We got selected. And so that was, we were notified officially. And I'm just looking at that email and just want to mention it was the Calcutta International Cult Film Festival. So thanks, everybody.
It's awesome.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you, Rick. So yeah, so that was the latest, and we have another one coming up. We're waiting for in a couple of weeks we'll hear, and then in April, hopefully we'll start hearing back for our other project, which was the Tower Protocol Resurrection. So congratulations to everybody. Thank you everybody for watching.
Hang
Tipsy,
on.
what do you got?
Took me a minute, but I got it.
There it is.
Oh, nice.
Yep. That's right.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that
Very
is
Really cool.
yeah, that's the trophy that it would have Stranded Warrior, and of course the director would be Tipsy Toaster, Chris Moore. So congratulations. We hit the ball out of the park. We won like 12, I think up to now it's about 12 awards for our trailer for the Stranded Warrior. And I expect that once we finalize the Stranded Warrior, we're probably going to pick up a few more once we get that out. Rick, any last thoughts?
No, I am trying to expand the book out. I've got it on Ingram Sparks. So I'm getting it. It's in Barnes and Noble now. Well, it could be picked up at Barnes and Noble. So I'm going to start pressing to see. So John, I may talk to you about who I could talk to about like the different Comic Cons and stuff, who sells the books, and see if I can reach out to them. Because like Dragon Con comes out in August, and without doing a spoiler, Dragon Con fits very well into my book theme. So I'd like to reach out to them as well, and like to go to that as well.
Yeah, they do have an entire literature track, and then they do welcome the authors. So
I can put you in that, send to LinkedIn on Facebook, literature track.
Okay.
And a couple of guys, so should be fun.
Awesome.
Dragon Con.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Oh yeah, we'd love to catch up with you, Rick, in person. That would be something else.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Tipsy.
Nothing. Thanks for joining us. For those people who did not remember, or who the Kolchak did the audiobook, and we gave a hint that he was the greatest. Somebody said it was Muhammad Ali. No, it was not Muhammad Ali. It would be the person who played the greatest American hero. Actually voiced this new Kolchak novel.
Wow.
That looks pretty good. I got it on pre-order, so for those who are interested, I'll post a thing up there. But The Night Stalker, this is there's William Catt, narrator, Blackstone Publishing. I haven't got to start it yet. I'm still finishing up, still doing research for another novel, which I'm doing the Egyptian Book of the Dead right now, which is riveting, by the way. Just kidding. Yeah, I was like, it's only 18 hours. Oh my God. And it says the same thing over and over again, but you get little tidbits of stuff. But anyways, I digress. So yeah, that'll be my next listen to as soon as I finish the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And then I think that'll be fun. But I've never watched Kolchak that much. Pete introduced me the first time we watched it on a big screen at my house. Long time ago. During one of our very first All-Con visits. So, but anyways, come meet us back here next Thursday. We'll have great people like Mr. Marino on and us and all sorts of the authors and the fans. We love to have everybody on. We love to inspire other people. We do this for fun. This isn't a channel that's for profit. We just have some fun, and whatever we do goes back into making the fans inspired. So please join us. We don't ask for donations or anything like that. So it's up to you what you want to do in regards to buying things online that we show you. But we really, really are here for the fans, and because we're fans ourselves. And we hope to see you again next Thursday. And that's all I've got.
Absolutely.
You go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, you brought up John Lithgow earlier.
Yes.
Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Good one. That's a good one. Yes, Rick. Awesome. Love that.
Usually it's like, you age yourself by the movie that by the movie you remember the star from. Like, Footloose or, Kevin Bacon. Oh, it's Footloose. John Lithgow, Harry and the Hendersons.
The World According to Garp.
Rewatched Buckaroo a couple months ago in November. This past November, I watched it again, and it's fun. A lot of fun. So, good. That's a good one. Absolutely. Well, thanks to you, Rick, John, Tiny Bean, Professor Patton, and Fran. Thank you all. And Tipsy to you too for doing in there, hanging in there. And all the best to everybody. So keep the faith, everyone. And
here's to you.
Fans
feel the fleet.
Fans feel the
fleet, guys. Take care.
Okay, guys.
That was fun, guys. Thank you. Guys, have a good night.